America spent billions of dollars buying a brand new military aircraft, signed the contract, started building it, and then, before it was even finished, tried to cancel the whole thing. And here's the strange part. The jet it tried to kill wasn't a failure. Two of America's closest allies, Australia and Britain, were already flying it. By some accounts, one of them had even helped shoot down a Russian bomber. This was a proven working aircraft. So, the Pentagon moved to scrap it. Congress refused to let them. The Pentagon tried again, and then a real war broke out and forced America to bring the jet back from the dead. Right now, in the summer of 2026, the United States is trying to raid the budget of another aircraft just to keep this one alive. The very aircraft it was desperate to kill barely a year ago. America didn't try to cancel this jet because it failed. It tried to cancel it at the exact moment its allies were proving it worked. This is the story of the E-7 Wedgetail. To understand the fight, you first have to understand what this plane actually does, because it doesn't drop bombs or shoot down jets. It's something more important. The E-7 is a flying command center. Packed with a powerful radar, it floats high above a battlefield and sees everything, every friendly jet, every enemy aircraft, every incoming missile, then directs the entire air battle below it. In a modern war with hundreds of aircraft in the sky at once, it's the brain that keeps the chaos from turning into catastrophe. America has done this job for decades with an aircraft called the E-3 Sentry. But that plane first flew in the 1970s, built on a Boeing 707 airliner. Its spinning radar dome takes a full 10 seconds just to complete one sweep of the sky, and the aging fleet is harder to keep flying every year. Without one of these flying command posts, hundreds of jets in a modern battle are flying half-blind, and America's only ones are nearly 50 years old. So, the Air Force picked a modern replacement, and then it tried to throw it away. The replacement was the E-7 Wedgetail, and it was no gamble. It's built on the rock-solid Boeing 737, and instead of a slow, spinning dome, it carries a fixed radar that stares in every direction at once, locking onto many targets and refreshing almost instantly. Best of all, it already existed and already worked. Australia had been flying Wedgetails for years. Britain, South Korea, and Turkey had bought them too. This wasn't a paper concept or a risky prototype. It was a battle-tested aircraft with a strong reputation. And, by one analysis, an Allied Wedgetail even helped down a Russian Su-34 bomber. In 2024, America signed a contract worth over $2.5 billion for its first jets. The E-7 was already flying real missions for America's allies, which is exactly what makes what the Pentagon did next so baffling. Because in its 2026 budget, the Air Force didn't ask for money to build more of them. It asked for money to shut the program down. In the 2026 budget request, the Pentagon moved to cancel the E-7 outright. And their reasoning, to be fair, wasn't crazy. They pointed to real problems. The program had suffered delays and rising costs. They raised a harder question too: survivability. In a future war against a major power like China, a large, non-stealthy jet packed with radar could be a fat, slow target, vulnerable to long-range missiles designed to blind an enemy by killing exactly these aircraft. So why pour billions into something that might not survive the war it's built for? Their alternative was twofold: lean on the Navy's smaller E-2D Hawkeye planes to fill the gap for now, and bet on the future, pushing the whole mission up into space onto satellites. The Pentagon's logic was simple. Why risk a giant radar plane over a battlefield when satellites could one day do the same job safely from orbit? But one day was still years away, and a lot of very powerful people thought killing the Wedgetail now was a dangerous mistake. The backlash was fierce. 16 retired four-star generals, some of the most senior airmen alive, locked arms and publicly called on Congress to save the program. And Congress listened. Lawmakers did something genuinely unusual. They didn't just add money back for the E-7. They passed language legally forbidding the Air Force from canceling the Boeing contract or shutting down its production line. They even blocked the Air Force from retiring its old E-3 fleet below a certain number, to make sure no dangerous gap could open up while everyone argued. It's a rare sight in Washington. Congress passing a law to stop the Pentagon from killing a weapon the Pentagon swore it no longer wanted. Now, both sides had a real point. The Pentagon was right that the jet was expensive and potentially vulnerable. Congress was right that you can't retire your only eyes in the sky and just hope satellites show up in time. It was a genuine deadlock between two reasonable fears, and then reality cast the deciding vote. In 2026, America went to war with Iran, and suddenly the abstract debate about radar planes became terrifyingly real. Over the battlefield, hundreds of aircraft, American and Allied, were flying at once, while Iran hurled waves of drones and cruise missiles into the sky, sorting friend from foe in real time. In that chaos is precisely the job of an airborne command center. And the satellites the Pentagon had been counting on simply couldn't do it. Not yet. Not like that. One of America's aging E-3s was even lost to an Iranian attack. Australia had to send one of its own Wedgetails to help hold the airspace together. The war exposed exactly the near-term gap that critics had warned about. Satellites couldn't tell friend from foe over Iran in real time. And that single glaring gap dragged the Wedgetail back from the dead. This spring, the Pentagon completely reversed itself. And to fund the jet it had just tried to kill, it reached for someone else's wallet. Here's where it gets almost absurd. Having flipped from killing the E-7 to saving it, the Pentagon needed money fast, about $1.5 billion. So in June 2026, it proposed taking that money from two places: a classified Air Force account and the budget of the Navy's own E-2D Hawkeye, another radar plane the military actually needs. In other words, to rescue one early warning aircraft, the Pentagon tried to gut the funding of another. Congress pushed back again, refusing to let the Navy's Hawkeyes be rated and restoring that money. And for all the billions flying around, it still only pays for a couple of development jets, not a fleet. To resurrect the aircraft it tried to kill, the Pentagon is now trying to raid the budget of another radar plane it also needs. A war over money, with no enemy in sight. The Wedgetail's long-term future, even now, is still not fully secured. So, that's the whirlwind story of the E-7 Wedgetail. A proven Allied-tested aircraft that America bought, then tried to kill over cost and survival concerns, that Congress fought to save, that a war dragged back to life. And that is now being funded by raiding the budgets of other aircraft, all in barely more than a year. And here's the lesson underneath it all. On a peacetime spreadsheet, it's easy to convince yourself you don't need something, that it's too expensive, too vulnerable, that a cheaper future is just around the corner. But wars don't wait for the future to arrive. The capability you cut to save money has a way of becoming the thing you'd give anything to have back on the very first day of a fight. To be fair, this story isn't over, and both sides may yet be proven partly right. But for now, the plane America tried to bury is flying on. Next, we're telling the story of the 50-year-old jet the Wedgetail was meant to replace, the legendary AWACS, and why America still can't quite let it go. You won't want to miss it. Stick around.